Welcome to another evening of Dr. Clifford and Friends, featuring the absolute very best in all women's sports, HBCU athletics, and so much more. We want to welcome to our team tonight as we get ready for a great show. And Happy New Year to everybody. Welcome to our listeners in Detroit, GPR 107.5 FM HD2, and 10 seconds, moment of silence. All right. We have a lot to talk about and bring our co-host in one by one. But Jeff, let's get it started. Dr. Kemp, get us started. Smallwood, Dr. Kemp.
Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year's. Richard Smallwood, born November the 30th, 1948, and passed away, as you all know, last week, December 30th, 2025. He was an American gospel artist who formed the Richard Smallwood Singers in 1977 in Washington, D.C. He was born in Atlanta, Georgia. He graduated cum laude from Howard University with a dual BA degree in classical vocal performance and piano, in addition to graduate work in the field of ethnomusicology. He was a member of the first gospel group at Howard University. He was the first gospel act to appear at Switzerland Montrose Jazz Festival. He was also a founding member of the university's first gospel choir. His recording career began in 1982 with the album The Richard Smallwood Singers. It spent 87 weeks on the Billboard Gospel chart. It was followed up by another album, which was nominated for a Grammy Award called Psalms. And as well as 2 years later, he also had numerous nominations, Grammy nominations. He worked with numerous artists. His music has been recorded by so many artists, which we all know: Destiny Child, Yolanda Adams, Karen Clark Sheard, just to name a few. And he also accompanied the opera singer Leontine Price at a Christmas celebration at the White House during the Reagan administration. His body of works will live on. And as my co-host stated last week, if you are ever in a church and you definitely are familiar with all the songs that he have definitely written and has produced. So our heart goes out to his family and friends, and may he continue to rest in heaven, Mr. Richard Smallwood.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Last week we received the news pretty much on the day of the show, but we wanted to make sure we gave him some full things. Jeff, give us a word again. I want to say hello to our 10 engaged listeners who are on the line with us. But Jeff, you give us a word again. Richard Smallwood, I know you've been singing gospel for years as a singer. Jeff?
Yes, absolutely. Just an incredible performer, incredible writer. He's done so much for the religious community, as I mentioned, for many, many years in every church that I've ever attended, from our home church to the church I'm in now, and we sing his music. It's just,
Yeah.
it's a staple in the community. So, and as Dr. Kemp just read, so many artists have also recorded his music. I mean, if you look it up, Donnie McClurkin, when he recorded Total Praise, it's just, and so we want to give him all the thanks in the world for letting God use him in a mighty, mighty way. And I hope when you come across his music, it will bless you to the fullest in Jesus' name, Cliff.
Yeah, thank you. One of the statements that was made last week, and you said it, Jeff, he crossed every genre, every denomination, Baptist, Adventist, doesn't matter. Jim, tell us about your thoughts on Mr. Rich Smallwood.
Well, he definitely was a legend because he touched all walks of life in music, be it gospel, secular, everything. And, he's really, truly going to be missed.
Yes, he is. One more time, Richard Smallwood, that's for sure. Uh, we have a great show tonight. Have to get on with things here. I want to tell Steve, give us about 30 seconds to the board. Steve, Richard Smallwood in the gospel world.
It's a sad loss because, only thing I can do is piggyback off of everything you all said, but he was such a gifted and talented human being and will be remembered. 77 years old, that's not old, but, just God be with his family. That's all I can say. And he had a great life and what a contributor to others that he was.
Amen. Thank you so much, Steve. Jeff, we had a couple of incidents this last week. One, we want to pray for our brothers and sisters over in Switzerland on New Year's Eve. Jeff, tell us about that tragedy there.
Yes, Cliff, definitely a tragedy in of the fullest kind. This was just sad. New Year's Eve, over in Switzerland, in the world famous the Swiss Alps. There was a New Year's celebration and party, and bar, a bar in location. It was a basement bar. A fire broke out. Now they were celebrating, and I've seen this before at a couple of celebrations where they take wine bottles and they put the sprinklers, those sprinklers inside of them and hold them up. And in this particular location, Cliff, unfortunately, they held them up, and it appears that either the roof or the ceiling was low enough where somehow it sparked a fire and then an explosion. And that explosion went off, and it was hard for people to burst out and scatter and run and get out of the way. Listen, over 40 persons were killed, and I got a number of 119 persons, it could be more, that were injured. And many of that was critical. So we're praying for those folks, Cliff. It's just bad. And the thing about it is, they were celebrating, right? Like an hour or so before. Everybody's just having a good time.
Yeah.
So, as I always used to say in my business, just before you go out or when you go to a location, just take a few minutes to survey the place and see what is safe, what is not, and keep an eye out for whatever looks like it can be trouble, because it happens in a second, and oftentimes it's not easy to recover. But we're praying for those folks in their loss.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Jeff will continue, as you say, pray for our brothers over in Switzerland. And anybody who knows our show is heard by being around the world. And we've been downloading in Switzerland, so as they download us, we're praying for you. Now, we want to move to another story, kind of sharp this Saturday morning, late Friday night, early Saturday morning. The United States went in to Venezuela and captured their leader, Maduro. It's been in the news back and forth lately. Kind of a bold move. Tell us your thoughts and what do you think it's indicating there?
Yes, not kind of a bold move, a bold move.
All right.
So that is exactly what happened. The military forces went in aggressively, and they had a might with them, and they did exactly that. They captured the president of Venezuela and his wife. I understand they killed roughly 20-something military personnel on the ground there, and then brought him here to the United States to hold him accountable for whatever crimes they're charging him for. I believe it's weapons charges and drug charges, Cliff. As we all know, they would strike in Venezuela for a long time, but I think that was just to show that, listen, we're doing something until we get our forces in place, and then we're going in to snatch this president. I believe that was the cause all along, and then the underline of that, as many say, that this is really an oil grab. This is an oil grab, which we know China is well invested in oil in that region, and so there's a lot more to follow here, a lot of complications. Right now, there's turmoil in the streets of Venezuela. There's protests everywhere, gunshots everywhere. Donald Trump says he's running everything. We'll see. We'll see how this goes. But whenever you have this much involved in terms of money, oil, and so forth, everybody's trying to get their hands on things. And I think this is going to spiral quickly. That's just my opinion, going to spiral quickly into something much greater, much bigger, Cliff. So we don't have enough time to go over everything, but this is not looking good at all.
Yeah, it'll be thank you, Jeff. It'll be ongoing. Understand in my reading, Venezuela produces 17%, almost 1/5 of the world's oil. So you're right. Underlying things going on here. Thanks so much, Jeff. We're going to stand on top of this story. It will be ongoing. Listen, I want to get to this tonight. It's so important. And I'm going to ask this young lady to come on. A few weeks ago, we had a tremendous volleyball coach from Dillard University, Angela Frankie, on our show. Jera Ricks notified us last week, and as you know, we do in HBCU family and family in general, we get behind each other. Coach Frankie, one of the givingest people around, is now being treated for breast cancer. And she has a GoFundMe page that we're going to keep pushing on this show until we make that goal, because we want to support Coach Frankie, my sister there down in Dillard. So, Coach, is it Jera Ricks? Welcome to Dr. Cliff Burton Friends. Come on in. Can you hear me?
I can. Thank you so much.
All righty. So, first of all, thank you for notifying our show last week. We didn't get to get it in while we started our campaign this week. But just give us your insight. I know you're helping to lead this GoFundMe fundraiser for tremendous sister, Coach Angela Frankie. We're in it with you. But tell us a little more about Coach, because you guys have been friends a while. We feel like we've known her whole lifetime. Just tell us a little bit.
Absolutely. So just to give you a brief, thank you. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for your continued support. So Coach Frankie was actually my GA when I played at Alcorn State University. And from there, this was back in, I'm going to age myself a bit here, but back in 2007. So she and I have known each other for quite some time. And so, really always being a mentor and a role model to me from way back then when I was just a very young buck who thought I knew everything my freshman year of college. But we stayed in touch. And so even after I left Alcorn, I went back to Arizona. She and I are both from Arizona. And she's coached NCAA Division I, all the way through and through. She's, of course, at Dillard now, doing amazing things, back-to-back conference champions, if I might add. But
don't get it to them. Hey, listen. Dee, congratulate her. We are for her. And listen, two of us on the show are this guy, but we still love her.
Okay. Yes. I've known Coach Frankie for quite some time. When she moved back to Arizona years ago, she had taken the head coaching job, which I know she spoke about because I actually tuned in when she was on with you all as well at Phoenix College. And so I had begged her, I'm like, please give me an opportunity. I'd love some college coaching experience. And she did just that. She had seen me coach and she was like, you know what, you're absolutely someone I want to continue to mentor. We developed a loving relationship, and she's one of my very dearest and best friends. I call her my sister. She's an aunt to my daughters, and I'm an aunt to her children. And she's just someone that doesn't ask anybody for anything. She's going to put her head down, work hard, and get through it. But the truth of the matter is she has stage 2B cancer. She had her double mastectomy on December 3rd. And it's been a tough road. Unfortunately, her mother fell last year, if I'm not mistaken, and broke her hip. And from there, it really led to early onset dementia. And so Angela, while being a single mother of two beautiful children, my niece and my nephew, has been a caregiver to her mother while also maintaining her position at Dillard University as the head women's volleyball coach. And it's challenging in and of itself, let alone now this, big hurdle that she has ahead of her. So she has the stage 2B cancer. It's, predominantly on her right side, but she also had lymph nodes as well. So it's pretty serious. She had the double mastectomy. She is doing okay, still recovering, as I'm sure you all can imagine. And it's going to be a bit of an uphill road, but she does still have radiation, chemotherapy ahead of her. And there's just been challenges. Like I said, Angela, she puts her head down and she will just do whatever she needs to make sure that her kids are okay, her mother's okay, and she takes care of herself last. And so this is the time for us as a community to stand behind her, and just support her as best we can. There's upcoming doctor's visits, and her vehicle's been down for 2 months. She still doesn't have her vehicle. She's been Ubering to the doctor and having friends and sorors. She is an SG row as well. So her sorors have stepped up to take her to the doctor, and it's a lot, and it's everything all at once. And so as her best friend and as someone that loves her dearly and cares for her so much, that wants to see her continue this fight, I want to also help her lighten the load. And so that was when I said, you know what, let me start this GoFundMe. Let's reach out to the community. We are a part of this volleyball world that is small but big at the same time. We're HBCU folk, and, there's so many folks that can sit here and support us. And why not ask for help when help is needed? And so while she would never ask on her own, I said, well, you know what, I'm not shy. I'll go ahead and ask.
Well, thank you, first of all, for asking. We're marking out in the medical community on our show here. Kemp is a nurse. I'm a physician, an educator. Jeff Steve's an educator, and then Jeff has been in security for years. But we are going to be behind this 100%. Let's get it on out to our listening audience until we reach the goal of $11,000. And I'm going to get this in there. It's a GoFundMe page with HTTPS GoFund.me//79F282DE6. We're going to say it a few more times on our show, and we're going to continue to push this every week on our show till we get that $11,000. How's that? Huh?
Thank you so much. Let's go.
So, now, Coach Frankie, at this time, The Blue Devils are going to have Bulldogs on her team at least. It's okay to get it on in volleyball next year, but we're taking this calls on, and we're going to keep doing this every week until we raise this, okay? Would you
Thank
hang
you
around
so
with us
much.
after the show?
I'm sorry?
Can you hang around with us to do the show tonight?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, great. I'm going to let Dr. Kemp and James and Jeff all say hello to you. Jerry, I want to make sure I say it right, but everybody say hello. Welcome to the show. Here we go. Jeff?
Hello.
Welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Blessings abound.
Welcome and
Steve?
Happy New Year. Glad to have you on.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Jim?
Welcome to Cliff Burton Friends. Glad to have you.
Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
And of course, Dr. Marlon Kemp, who keeps us all together. Yeah.
Coach Rick, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for just asking us and reaching out, my divine 9 sister,
Sister,
my healthcare sister. For the caregiver now needs caregiving. So we are definitely here to help her.
thank you so
Oh,
much
yeah.
for reaching out to us.
Thank
All
you.
righty. Well, here we go. Let's get started. We're going to come back again to this all night long on commercial breaks. But we are, again, raising money, and we want to get the goal of $11,000 to GoFundMe page Coach Angela Frankie, Dillon University Championship coach. Now, our winning Women of the Month, we got a good one for you here. Her name is Carolyn Peck, the American television sportscaster, former college basketball coach, and she was the head coach for the women's basketball teams of Purdue University and University of Florida, and also the first head coach, general manager in the history of the WNBA Orlando Miracle. She was also the associate head coach for her alma mater, Purdue University, and she was the first African American coach to win the NCAA national championship in basketball. Carolyn Peck, you can announce it now. Give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I'm so happy that we brought her back as one of the
Our January Woman of the Month. She is definitely a phenomenal person. I just love hearing her commentate during the season, and I'm just so glad you will definitely touch more on her throughout the month. But thank you so much, Dr. B, for bringing this phenomenal coach and person to the show for the Woman of the Month.
Yeah, we have her all month. Now, we're going to call this next woman, and Jim, I want you to comment, and Jeff as well. And Steve, this is our Woman Executive of the Month. Now, when I read why, you'll see. Maynard Daly, born April 16, 1921, and she passed on October 28, 2000, an American biochemist. She was the first African American to receive a PhD from Columbia University and the first African American woman in the United States to earn a PhD in chemistry. Daly made important contributions in 4 areas of research: the chemistry of histones, protein synthesis, the relationship between cholesterol and hypertension, and creatinine uptake by muscle cells. She also has extensive research in the DNA model. In fact, Watson and Crick, who are known and given the Nobel Prize for discovering the DNA, they mentioned her research as the reason that they were able to decode the DNA model, y'all. So, hey, this sister here, we go, yeah. Give it up. Jim, did you know about
No, I did not. But looking at her accomplishments, she's always been one to try to increase minority enrollment. She did a conference and wrote a book, The Price of Being a Minority Woman in Science, which made recommendations for recruiting and retaining minority women scientists.
Oh, yeah. Jeff, your thoughts on this tremendous woman, Dr. Maynard Daly?
Just like Jim, I'm not aware of her achievement. Once again, you made me feel like I should be on the short bus. Just because I'm going to look up her background and take a good peek at it. Incredible.
Yeah, she's an incredible woman. And Steve, thoughts?
I actually read up on her, and it was so amazing. It's almost like it was a movie.
Come on,
I
man.
mean, the accomplishments that she had with what was it, protons, DNA,
Protein. Yeah, protein. Yeah.
and the things she got credit from a person that really up in that community that gave her credit, like you were saying, for something she discovered, and then the link between cholesterol and hypertension. I mean, they're still using the things that she discovered. That it's so relevant now to what they do. So it was just, it was unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. Give it up. We have it with us all month. That's right. Now we're gonna call our executive. We're gonna come back to Dr. Camp next. Scientist, she'll be on here for 20 minutes. We're gonna come back on this lady here. But we're gonna come back to her next week. We're gonna move on in the show. Give us a quick. I want to go back to this. Quick, what's going on with Stefan Diggs, Jim? Just real quick for us. I know he's in the playoffs for New England.
Well, Stefan has a case against him for strangulation, some physical violence against a cook that he had. He was paying her weekly, then started paying her monthly, and I guess he didn't pay. And he took her back to her bedroom and strangled her, allegedly. And it's coming to trial on the 23rd of January, which will be a couple days before the AFC Championship game. And he is a player with the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Now, his girlfriend, Cardi B, has come up with some texts that state that he wasn't as the lady claimed. So, we're going to stay tuned to this and see what actually happens.
Yeah. On the other side, it's the 1,000 yard receiving season. Well, let's stay positive. Let's all the facts. Let's see where the leads. Now, we're going to get to two of our celebrity birthdays tonight. Jim, take us down. Give us a good minute and a half. George Washington Carver, born July 5th. Jim?
Born January 5th.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
But George Washington Carver was an agricultural science and inventor who promoted alternative crops to cotton and methods to prevent soil depletion. He was probably one of the most prominent Black scientists of the early 20th century. He was born into slavery in Diamond Grove, Missouri, and he ended up going to college he ended up at Highland University, and then he transferred and he ended up at Iowa State College, where he ran into a racial incident, and the people there said, "No, you're not gonna mess with George." So after George even though he's addressed as doctor, he never received his official doctorate. But he went down to Tuskegee with Booker T, and he designed a lot of things to prevent, a lot of problems when you use the same crop over and over again, you deplete the soil. Yeah. So he developed crop rotation to not have the soil depleted so much. All and right. He's also known for a lot of things that he came out of the sweet potato. Yeah. So George Washington Carver.
Thank you, Jim. Steve, we're going to, Dr. Camp, we'll bring Alvin to Steve. None other on 111, Mary J. Blige. Give us about a minute and a half version. Mary J. Blige.
Shoot, man, I thought I had Billy D. Williams. No, I'm just kidding. Mary Jane Blige is an American R&B and hip-hop soul singer, songwriter, actress, entrepreneur, often referred to by the honorifics queen of hip-hop soul and queen of R&B. Her accolades include 9 Grammy Awards, a Primetime Emmy Award, 4 American Music Awards, 12 NAACP Image Awards, and 12 Billboard Music Awards, including the Billboard Icon Award. She was married in 2003 to Kendu Isaacs, and they divorced in 2018, and she had to pay him a lot of money. I don't know how you can call yourself a real man.
Come on, don't go there, Steve.
I really don't. I'm sorry. You can.
All right. All right.
She was signed by Andre Harrell and Uptown Records, released her debut album, What's the 411, which is credited for introducing a mix of R&B and hip-hop into mainstream pop culture. And, they didn't think that it was going to be a viable source, but Andre Harrell stuck to his guns, and she was the queen over there at Uptown Records. She patterned herself after Aretha Franklin, Chaka Khan, and, she really had a tough go of it.
Yeah.
Out her early life, and then even after she made it, she still had some challenges. She got into alcohol, and, she just had a lot of things go wrong. And a lot of times out of that, comes greatness. And I think
Yeah.
that's what happened to Mary J. And they're going strong.
Thanks so much, Steve. Thanks so much, Steve. Mary J. Blige. We go all night about her. Listen, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're coming right back. All right? All right. Welcome back. Dr. Clifford and Friends featuring the absolute very best and all the women's sports, HBCU athletics, and so much more. All righty. We have the Truly You Med Spa in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 10184 Vera Road, Philadelphia, PA 19116. You can call the number 215-712-1020. That's Wednesdays and Thursdays between 10 and 5. At the Truly You Med Spa, they do acne scars, laser hair removal, melasma, skin rejuvenation, stretch marks, fine lines, wrinkles, and so much more. That's Truly You Med Spa. Now, I'm gonna ask Jera. Hello. How you doing? Gerald? You still with us?
I'm here.
Okay. All right. How you enjoying it so far?
Good, good. This is just as good as the
Good.
last time when I heard y'all. I love it.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
What do you think about Mary J. Blige's celebrity birthday? You love Mary J.?
Listen, I'm not gonna make this about me, but I also sing, and so I kind of made my own real version of Real Love. I'll put it like that.
Give us some. Come on, we're gonna take the time for this. Give it to us. One verse. We got it. Come on.
Now, okay, now I said that. Do I have to sing Mary J. or can I sing anything?
What do you got? Come on with it. Here we go.
All right. Okay, I'll hit y'all with a little bit of Alicia. Okay.
Here we go.
With you, sometimes I love you. Sometimes you make me blue. And at times I feel good. And at times I feel used. Makes me so confused. And I keep on falling in and out of love with you. I never love someone the way that I love you. I'm just saying. It's a little something.
Yeah, I'm over here grooving. I'm over here.
Wow.
I was singing along, but I was singing along silently.
That one. Thank you for that one. Wow.
It's a little bit of a cheat code. I have been singing since I was 5. I started singing professionally at 17. I opened for Mr. Lenny Williams. I've opened for KRS-One. So I've done a little bit, just a little bit.
I knew it was a cheat code. He was too good.
We go to the next commercial. You're taking us there. Listen, Dr. Kim, here we go. Dr. Kim, we're going to just give us the conference scores, and we're not going to do any status for the players, just conference scores. CUAC, the women. What do you have, Dr. Kim?
Man, okay, thanks, Dr. Bird. Let me catch my breath after that. Okay, here we go. CU women's basketball standings. We have Oakwood Conference play is 4 wins, 0 loss. Stillman 3-1. Russ out of Mississippi 3-1. Talladega 2-2. Fisk 1-3. Wilberforce out of Ohio 1-3. And Voorhees University 0-4. And that's in the East Division. In the West Division, we have Wiley out of Texas 4-0. Paul Quinn 4-0. Philander Smith 3-1. Dillard 2-3. Tougaloo 1-3. Southern University at New Orleans 1-4. The Virgin Islands 0-0, and Houston Tillerton 0-4. That's the 2025 women's HBCU Extreme Women's Basketball standings are 52 commission.
Okay, thanks a lot. Now the women's CIAA. What do we have?
CIAA in the Northern Division, we have Virginia Union 2-1, Virginia State 2-1, Bowie State 1-2, Bluefield State 1-2, Elizabeth City State 0-4, Lincoln out of Pennsylvania 0-1. In the Southern Division, we have Winston-Salem State 1-0, Claflin 2-0, Fayetteville State 2-1, Johnson C. Smith 2-1, Shaw 2-2, and Livingstone 0-2. That's the CIAA women's basketball standings at this particular time.
All righty, good. Thanks a lot. Yeah. One more tonight as far as for HBCU, the SIAC. Now, Jeff, what do you have?
All right, for the SIAC, the East Division, we have Edward Waters 7-2, Albany State 6-3, Allen 7-4, Clark Atlanta 6-4, Savannah State 5-4, Benedict 6-5, and Fort Valley State 1-9. In the West Division, we have Miles 9-1, Lane College 7-2, Tuskegee 7-3, Kentucky State 2-6, Spring Hill 2-7, Lemoyne on 1 and rounding up the bottom, Central State 1-10, and that's the SIAC 2025-26 women basketball standing at this particular time.
All righty. Can you believe conference tournament on that? Then 2 months away. Everybody gets a conference schedule. You're going to be keeping up. Now, the G1 basketball, here's the top 5, and then we're talking about those down the line. The UConn is 15-0, Texas 17-0, and they're only one of 3 unbeaten. And then South Carolina 15-1, UCLA 14-1, and Oklahoma is 14-1. However, let's give it up for the ladies from Vanderbilt. They are 15-0, and they are ranked number 7 in the nation, coming on a win over LSU. All right? And Steve, I'm going to ask you, what's her name, Blake, the plays for Vanderbilt? He made a mistake. She's in the top 5 players in the country. When we talk about All-Americans, that girl can play.
My daughter, one of your goddaughters, one of the twins, was at the game with a friend of hers, and I was watching it. And the Vanderbilt women's coach finally came to realize with 5 minutes left in the game, hey, let me put the ball in her hands and try to get the ball to her and let her do her thing. And she took over. She'd have had 50 if she'd have had the ball in her hands the whole night. What's wrong with Flau'jae Johnson?
Listen, okay, I'm glad you brought it up. I'm going to go back to Blake, and then let's go to Flau'jae.
Blake's top 5. Blake's top 5. She's a scoring machine.
Coach for Vanderbilt, those who don't know, Shay Ralph, former assistant and also starter for GORM on one of his national championship teams. So she comes to Vanderbilt with some pedigree, and in 5 years, she's getting Vanderbilt back on prominence now. And I'm talking Jeb, Chip, or whatever like the team is. People might notice that it looks like in the LSU rotation, they've gotten away from Flau'jae. I'm glad they're starting for Wiley, and they have Williams and some of the other players. But if they are going to win a national championship, get to that Final Four, they've got to go back to put that ball in Flau'jae's hand and make her the number 1 option. That's my thoughts. Jim, I'll come back to you, Steve. Jim, your thoughts on LSU?
Well, Cliff, Kim Mulkey always does some interesting things.
Yep.
And maybe this is just something that she's doing until she gets to the nitty gritty and has to put her best lineup out there.
Yeah, I understand that yesterday was for Wiley's first time starting. Okay, if they didn't play her, they would have really got blown out, What are your thoughts?
That's my girl for Wiley, and I hadn't really had a chance to really see them. But I agree with Jim, because Coach Kim, she always got something up her sleeve. So you just never know what's going on. But it's going to be interesting to see how they play, especially coming down, into the tournament.
Yeah, there's one more player I want to bring to your attention. She plays, I believe, for Iowa State. She's a leading scorer in the country. What's her name? Audie Crook. Audie Crook. Give us your opinion, Jeff. Have you seen her play? She's a load inside to deal with, and a skillful load.
I haven't seen her yet, but I heard she's no joke. I don't know. We'll see coming down the end, but
I heard she's leading the country. Yeah, she's she play that post inside out, and I think they'll make a run. I don't know if the rest of the team is that strong to get to the Final Four, but she is something to have to deal with inside.
Cliff, she reminds me of the girl we had at Fisk a couple years ago.
The one who scored 60.
Yes.
Yeah.
All-American. Yeah. I agree with that. Listen, real quick before we go in the commercial, and then we go into the WNBA collective bargaining agreement. Deadline is coming up January 9th. They're nowhere near any agreement on anything. The players want 30% of gross revenue. The owners want them to get 50%, but of net revenue, which is tricky. In other words, once all the expenses come out, we'll give you 50%, which is in essence going to be less money than 30% of the gross revenue for the league. That's actually where the main points of difference are. And it doesn't look like either side is going to back down. It could end up in a lockout, but this extended deadline is January 9th, and we just have to see where it goes. I hope it's not a lockout. What are your thoughts, Steve? I'll come to you. Jim, I'll come to you. Dr. Kim?
Yeah, Cliff, I believe they're both going to stand their ground. And like you said, I hope it's not going to be a lockout or anything, but I believe they are both going to stand the ground and defend what they think is right. Of course, I just hope they'll be playing. Hope the women in the league will get what they want, and we can start playing some basketball when it's time this summer.
Jim, thank you, Steve.
It will probably come down to right before the season, before they come to an agreement. But I'm with Steve. I hope they get this settled so we can have some good basketball.
Dr. Kemp and Jeff will come to you next. Dr. Kemp?
Yeah, I totally agree with Steve and Jim, because right now, they're playing in the unrivaled league. So,
Yeah.
They don't have to really, worry too much, but it's going to come down to right before, I feel probably right before the league starts back up again. But we'll see. Hopefully it'll be before that.
Jeff?
I just think, just like any other bargaining agreement, it's going to see who can hold out the longest. I think the league is going to hold out as long as they can and see how far the women will go. At some point in time, somebody's going to break. So I think the league can hold out, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we're going to wait and see. We're going to stay on top of this. You're right, Dr. Kent. On yesterday, the Winter League Unrivaled started. 8 teams now, 6 players each team. It's going to be a great league again. Even though Fisher Collier will not be playing this year, she's had a double ankle surgery or has it coming up to get well for the regular season. Listen, we also want to, again, remind all of our listeners that we are going to be raising money to get to $11,000 goal for Coach Angela Frank, the HBCU volleyball 2-time champion, and we want to help her in that breast cancer battle and make sure we get these bills paid for. We want to help her out. She's our sister. And we're going to get this done with Dr. Clifford and friends and all of our listeners and everybody joining in. You can go to the GoFundMe page at https://GoFundMe/79F282DE6. And so maybe she's ready again. Maybe she's supposed to give us a little more Alicia Keys. It was me. Jared, can you take us to break?
Let's see. Let's do a little Brandy. Let's do a little something.
Here we go.
Okay. I would like to get to know if I could be the kind of girl that you could be down for. 'Cause when I look at you, I feel something tell me that you're the kind of guy that I should make a move on. And if I don't let you know, then I won't be for real. I could be wrong, but I feel like something could be going on. The more I see you, the more that it becomes so true. There ain't no other than me. There's only... All right now.
All right.
Yes, ma'am.
And tired of being stuck in a cycle of attempts to achieve better health? If you said yes, Abundant Life LLC may be able to help. One size doesn't fit all, but using effective strategies empowers you to reach your goals. Try something new. Pick the cycle website, abundant-life-llc.com, and you can reach Dr. Rashay Freeman at 615-212-8490. Welcome back, Dr. Clifford and friends, featuring the absolute very best in all of women's sports, HBCU athletics, and now singing commercials. Jim! Jim, straight there. All right, Jim. Jim, football. Okay. The NCAA football playoff predictions, Jim. Are you there?
But I'm here. Okay, there it is.
Oh.
Now, the 1AA championships, Illinois State lost a close game to Montana State in overtime, where Illinois State came back from a 2-touchdown deficit all the way until they missed an extra point, and then Montana State scored and made the extra point. 35-34. It was a great game. Now, in the football, the FCS, we have 4 teams left. We have, Mississippi, which is going crazy right now.
Yeah.
Lane Kiffin left, but they've won 2 games. He's letting 2 of his coaches stay, the offensive coordinator and the running backs coach, to help out. They will play Miami, who was technically the last team in, and Notre Dame had a fit, but they belong in. And that game is going to go, I think that game is Thursday. And then Friday, you have
Jim, can I ask you on the coaching situation for Ole Miss? Now, Is the offensive coordinator still going to coach in the semifinals, or did he go with Lane Kiffin already?
The offensive coordinator and the running backs coach are going to be able to coach for Ole Miss.
Good. Okay.
Even though they're actually employed by LSU right now.
Crazy. Okay.
Yeah, that whole thing is crazy. Because
the guy who was the head coach for them this past weekend, now he's going to LSU, right?
No, the head coach is the defensive coordinator who's going to be the head coach next year.
Okay.
I'm talking about Golden, the guy that coached Ole Miss in Kiffin's place Saturday. You know, the Joe Golding.
He was one of the coaches, but the defense coordinator is going to be the coach next year.
Okay.
And he's coaching now.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, on the other game, you have the Battle of the Big Ten with undefeated Indiana against one-loss Oregon, which also is going to be a battle of these two quarterbacks are probably going to go 1-2 if Dante Moore decides to come out in the draft in 2026. Now, I'm predicting, I think Miami ends the fairy tale.
Really?
Yes.
You don't think
Miami
Chambliss is good enough? The Ole Miss, the quarterback is good enough?
You asked me for a prediction.
All right.
Miami has talent on both sides of the ball.
Okay.
And I believe they've got two DNs that'll kind of slow that down. But Chambliss had an unbelievable game against Georgia. I mean, some of those passes he ran around and just threw the ball up there. I'm like, man.
That one he rolled to the right, Jim?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
And quiet as is kept, he is petitioning the NCAA for another year.
Right. Because he only played 3, right? Yeah.
Well, one of the years at Ferris State, he's petitioning for a medical red shirt.
And what's crazy is he wasn't a starter, and the guy who was starting got hurt. And the guy who was starting actually may be better. And he's in the transfer portal, but he's going to stay through. But Trinidad's a bad boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the Battle of the Big Ten, I'm going to go with Oregon.
Oh, really? Okay. All right.
Now, you guys have anything about,
well,
predictions?
Indiana's on a roll. I have to go today. I thought Washington handled Alabama. Oh, my goodness. I think Indiana's going to win the championship. And Jim, again, you could be right. But they just feel like the team is just still, their coach knows how to keep them hungry, it looks like, even in the success. So,
I'm kind of with Jim. I'm kind of with Jim because I don't think Dante Moore is going to have the game he had when they played him in Oregon. I think he's going to step up. They've got the talent. I do like Indiana, though. I like both quarterbacks. Their defense is just, oh, my God, they're a wrecking crew.
And then again, I'm sorry, Steve.
I just think Moore is I think he's going to be good.
Let's get Dr. Kempson. Dr. Kempson, Jeff, jump on in. This is our last weekend. What do you think, Dr. Kemp?
Well, I like Indiana. I thought I would never say that. But I think
nobody else did either, Marlo.
And I think I am like really, I like an underdog story. I think I'm kind of pulling for Indiana. But it's gonna be a good game. I hope they make it a good game. I hope on both sides. But I think I'm gonna lean in on U of I right now, Indiana, and kind of see what happens.
Well, one reason that I'm picking Oregon is because this is going to be the second go round for Indiana against Oregon, and I think they may make the corrections, and it's going to be a good game. They both are going to be good games.
I think they are. Yeah.
Yep. Have we heard from you? What do you think? Indiana, Oregon, and Miami.
Steve said it defense, so I'm gonna have to stay with Indiana. Defense, man. I'm always gonna pick in defense.
All right. Chip?
Well, we're talking college football and the portal, which is something changing every 30 seconds. So right now, USF quarterback Byron Brown is going to Auburn with his coach. It's Golish.
Okay.
So, there's a lot. Brandon Sorsby commits to Texas Tech. It is rumored that he is getting $5 million to go to Texas Tech.
I'll give him a clap. I ain't mad at him. I'm not
again, that oil money down in Texas Tech is paying off great dividends because they have a softball player Najee Kennedy, who made $1 million playing softball.
That all money Tim got Texas their championship when they had Mac Brown in Texas.
Yeah, but it wasn't legal then.
No, it
Yeah,
wasn't legal.
Jim, any HBCU players outstanding that'll be leaving an HBCU school and going to maybe a Big Ten or a big SEC? A lot of times it seems like now that the money they offer top HBCU players, it seems like the HBCU schools can then become somewhat feeders to your bigger schools. Any players from there going?
I think there are a couple, but I've seen HBCU schools recruiting against each other, and some players even going in the same conference to a different school. Now, Josh Hoover is leaving Cincinnati TCU and committing to Indiana. So Indiana is going to keep a quarterback because they got Mendoza from Cal, so they're going to keep a top-notch quarterback.
All right.
Now, in terms of the coaching carousel, which, again, you have to update that regularly. But the last one, it's kind of slowed down. The last one was Michigan hired Whittingham.
Okay. Well, they
I
needed
don't know.
something, Jim, the way to go for Michigan. Michigan needed something. Something.
They needed a coach. But Cliff and Steve, Jeff, Marlo, you're getting a coach from Utah, a Mormon country, coming into the Big Ten. I just don't know.
Yeah. And he's 6 years old.
Yes. And also, quiet as is kept, he's a protege of Urban Meyer.
No.
And Urban Meyer was un-Mormon-like. It's, not even going to go there. But it's going to be interesting because I think a lot of the Michigan players were recruited by certain coaches. He kept half of those, and his wide receiver coach was not kept. And we've already had 2 wide receivers decommit.
All right. So, Jim, we got about 4 minutes left. We got to go to the NFL.
Okay, in the NFL, we have another coaching carousel. It just happened hours ago. John Harbaugh was fired from the Baltimore Ravens. Now they say that don't give a hand for that. Oh no, they are 7 openings, and they say he got 7 calls, which in a couple hours, which means that one team that doesn't have an opening made a call. Jonathan Gannon was fired from Arizona. That was pretty much expected.
Yeah.
Pete Carroll, he's 74 years old.
Yeah.
He, his team. Well, he did his job. He got them the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
So Kevin Stefanski was fired. I think a lot of that has to do with his relationship with Shador.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was as good as it should have been, and I think it cost him. But Stefanski will, like Harbaugh, will find another job. Raheem, a guy that I think shouldn't have been fired. He ended up in a first-place tie for the NFC South Division. Carolina, Atlanta, and Tampa were all 8.
All right.
And
what about the matchups? What about the matchups? Here we go.
Okay. So matchups it's going to be an interesting week. And a lot of the stuff did not come through until the last minute. But in the NFC, you've got Green Bay versus Chicago. And that's a 7 versus 2. Green Bay has the experience, so we'll see what happens there. It's going to be at Chicago, but this is a toss-up. Both games went down to the wire. I think this one will as well. San Francisco travels across country. San Francisco was very close to not having to leave home for any games, including the Super Bowl, until they lost to the Seattle Seahawks. I think the Eagles will pull that one out, and I think the Rams will beat the Carolina Panthers on their second try this year. In the NFC, you've got the Chargers going to the Patriots. I think the Patriots are going to win that.
Okay.
Chargers are 2 injured. Buffalo at Jacksonville. That might be a good game.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to give Buffalo the nod.
Okay.
And probably the closest game, and I didn't know we played Monday night games in the playoffs, but on Monday night, Houston goes to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gets Metcalf back, and I think that they will. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh.
All right. All right. You're going to go to commercial? We'll be right back. Dr. Clifford and Friends, featuring the absolute very best in all women's sports, HBCU athletics, and so much more. That's Dr. Clifford and Friends Sports Talk every Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, and our podcast website, cliftonbucks.podbean.com. Steve, basketball, take us away.
All right, and the CIAA, Virginia Union is 1-0 in the conference. I'm sorry, Lincoln is 2-1. I'm getting my thing here. Bowie State 2-1. Bluefield State 2-1. Virginia State 1-2. Elizabeth City 1-2. In the Southern Division, Claflin is 3-0. Winston-Salem 1-1. Johnson C. Smith 1-1. Shaw is 1-2. Fairfield State is 1-2. And Livingstone is 0-3. Now those are all just their conference records. And the SIAC, Clark, Atlanta, all these are conference records, 6-2. Morehouse is 6-3. Albany State is 5-3. Fort Valley State 5-4. Savannah State 5-4. Edward Waters 4-5. Benedict 4-6. Allen 1-9. In the Western Division, Tuskegee is 8-1. Miles is 7-2. Lane is 5-3. Lemoyne Owen is 4-5. Central State 3-6. Kentucky State 2-5. Spring Hill is 1-8. Now, if we move on here.
All right. Yes, I see. All right, see.
Move on to men's Division 1. Michigan is number 1 at 13-0. Arizona 2 at 14-0. Iowa State 3 at 14-0. UConn is 4 at 14-1. BYU is 5 at 13-1. Purdue is 6 at 13-1. Gonzaga is 7 at 16-1. Duke is 8 at 13-1. Nebraska is still undefeated. Beat Michigan State the other night at 9 is 15-0, and Michigan State is 13-2. As we speak, Michigan is having a tough go with Penn State right now in a close game. But the reason is the coach is smart enough at Penn State to be playing them a zone because he knows he can't match up with the man-to-man. That's what's keeping them in the game. They're just down 6 points. 6.5 left.
All right.
And in the NBA, man, I'm telling you, it's really something. Detroit GM is on a roll. They're going to have a Jaden Ivey decision to make. They're number 1. Boston is number 2. This is Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
New York is number 3. Hey, Jeff, Mike Brown coming alive.
Hey, don't forget to mention that great game yesterday.
I know. Yeah, Philadelphia. That was ugly, wasn't it? Philadelphia.
Lovely.
Orlando, I mean, they just beat the brakes off of them. Orlando is 6, Miami is 7, Cleveland 8. And because of play-in, we'll have Chicago 9, Atlanta 10. Atlanta is working on trading Trae Young right now.
For Anthony Davis? But no.
Right now, it's 3 teams that are standing out. And I actually picked all 3 teams: the Washington Wizards, Toronto, and the Clippers.
Wow.
But, yeah, they're working on it right now. And it's some interesting swaps forms. I'm interested to see what's going to happen. Oklahoma City in the West, they got whipped last night by Charlotte, but they're 30-7. San Antonio is 25-10. The Lakers are 22-11. Denver is 24-12. Houston is in 5th place. Minnesota is in 6th. Phoenix is in 7th place. Golden State is in 8th place, and Steve Kerr got kicked out of the game the other night.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a goaltending call. He was right, though. Portland is 9th place, is 17-20, and Memphis is in 10th place. If you look at Portland, Scoot Henderson hadn't played this year because he tore his hamstring, and they won't say if he had surgery or not, but they thought maybe he would be back by now. Also, injury news, Nikola Jokic, the Joker, hyperextended his knee.
Wow.
And he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks, so I'll give him another 4 weeks because it just happened. Victor Wembanyama did the same thing. I don't think Victor's was as bad. And Victor had already put up game numbers in the first half when he got hurt. They're looking forward to getting him back because they're going to be a problem. San Antonio.
Yes.
Luka Doncic 33.7, SGA 31.6, Tyrese Maxey 31.0.
He could ball.
Oh, he's coming out. The Joker is leading the league in rebounding at 12.2. Karl Anthony Towns 11.5. Rudy Gobert at 11.1. Ivan Zubac 11 even, and Donovan Kling as in fifth place at 10.8. Assist Nikola Jokic, the Joker 11.0. Number 2 is Cade, the motorcade Cunningham at 9.7. Josh Giddey, 53rd at 9.0. Oh, somebody crossed him up the other night, and he really did hurt his ankles when he fell. Fourth place is Luka at 8.7. The Don, and Atlanta's Jalen Johnson is 8.4, and I think that's part of the reason they want to really move on from Trey, because they don't think he matches with them. I'm a fan of Trey, and I think it's going to work out for both of them. I think change of scenery for Trey will be good, and hopefully, Atlanta doesn't have to find out, hey, it wasn't Trey. Now, they got a better record without him this year, but when it comes down to it, man, Trey, they don't care about his defense. Trey getting 25 a night. Whoever he's guarding, that is going to outscore him. And update, Michigan is up 5 on Penn State with 5 minutes left. Like I said, Penn State playing the right defense. Oh, and I just saw this go across the screen. I didn't think it would happen this soon. Sharon Moore just got hired.
Wow.
Yeah, he is taking over. He is taking over. Goldie Hawn just stepped down from the Wildcats, and so he's going to be head coach of the Wildcats. Goldie Hawn is retired.
Miracles do happen.
You know what I'm talking about, Cliff. You know who the Wildcats are, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
You see the movie.
Steve, I want to get to this basketball question, and then I want to go back to Coach Frankie before we get in. But I want to ask you this. LeBron James, we know he scored 50,000 points in his career, but recently he passed Chris Paul for the second, I believe, or somewhere. He's in the top 4 or 5 assists in his career. And you used to always say at the beginning of his career, the greatness is that he can score so many points, and he's a pass first player. Yeah, but he's in the top 2 or 3 in assists in his career. And I just think ever since the greatness of LeBron James, before I go back, I want to talk about Coach Frankie, what we're doing, and then Jim, get us out of here.
He is the only player, LeBron James, is the only player that I've ever put ahead of Kareem. And because, Kareem is just giving the ball. But for somebody to be a pass first player and score all these points and all these assists, and let me tell you something, 2012, they were talking about LeBron James, they were interviewing him about his record. I'm the biggest Kobe Bryant fan in the world. That's why Shaq left, I was like, good, Kobe can get all these scoring titles and stuff like that. And they asked LeBron, they said, you got all these records, but you haven't led the league in scoring. And he looked at it, he said, and he wasn't demonstrative, he said, if I wanted to lead the league in scoring, I'd lead the league in scoring. And me being the biggest Kobe Bryant fan, real basketball came out of me. I said, yeah, he is right. Won't nobody be able to stop him, because let me make this quick. I used to look, I'm a box score guy. I'm still this damn box score guy. And I look at the box scores and I say, oh, good, LeBron only had 28. Oh, good, LeBron only had 32. Good, LeBron only had 29. Good, LeBron only had 30, because I was wanting Kobe. Because I knew if LeBron wanted to, it's nothing you can do.
Yeah, he's the greatest. He's the greatest. See, just step back here, Jared, before we get out of here. But again, one more time, we want to make sure that we're supporting Coach Angela Frankie, Dillon University, battle with breast cancer. All of our listeners, for the GoFundMe page, HTTPS, GoFundMe, me/79F282BE6. We're going to continue with pushing this for the next till we get $1,000. Right now, we're a little over 2,000. But everybody on the show, hit all your networks. Everybody listening, donate and hit your networks. Kara, give us a word or two before we get out of here. Before we do, I want to thank our 51 engaged listeners, another night in the chat box for joining us tonight. Jennifer?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank everyone that has supported this. Again, we need our community to stand behind our sister. She is our sister, our HBU sister. She's doing everything she can. My little one's in the background. We love her. We just want to see her get through this and build her up and strengthen her during this hard time because she's going through some hard times. So any amount that anybody can donate and just sharing through their networks would be incredibly helpful. So thank you all.
God bless.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
Jim,
next time we're going to have to do a duet. We're going to do a duet next time.
yeah,
I thought your daughter was. I thought she was trying to sing.
Jim, let's
I
go
didn't know
Bullseye
she was
Sports.
crying. Bullseye
Bullseye.
Sports Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 7 to 9 on WGPR 107.5 HD2, and also the Sports Rap app.
All righty. Thank you so much. And we'll see everybody back in 168 hours from now. Thanks so much, everybody.
God bless everyone. God bless you all.
Good night.
Night.